What's poppin', ladies and gentlemen, Darhkseid here, and I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a reaction to the latest ESBC Dev Roundtable, but this time with special guest none other than himself, Mr. Boxing Fanatico, aka Edward, aka Tenchu. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it.
Last time we were on this roundtable discussion, you said we had a couple of milestones to reach before we would announce.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
How are things going?
Thanks for that, Todd. Things are going really well, on track, on schedule. There's still obviously a lot of work that's taking place behind the scenes, but since the last roundtable discussion, we've got to a position where a multiplayer milestone has been achieved, which we're relatively pleased with, and we also carried out a focused playtest where we invited some members of the public to essentially test and play the game, and providing us feedback with how that went. So yeah, since the last round,
if you guys need somebody, if you need someone, just let me know. I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Even for early access, we don't want to launch something as a test bed, right? In terms of, there's things that we can fix now, rather than putting it out in early access for people to tell us what's wrong with the game, right?
Which makes perfect sense if you think about it. I mean, if you know something's off with the game, it doesn't really make much sense for you to put it into early access where people are just going to tell you the same thing that you already know. So definitely better for them to try to fix it ahead of time rather than put it in early access anyways and work on it while it's in early access, even though they knew beforehand. So that's good that they're being transparent with that for sure.
Rather have a game that's as polished as possible for early access release.
As far as that test went, what were some of you said you got a lot of feedback. What were some of the positives that you heard and some of the things that weren't as great?
Yeah, I mean, look, the key thing for us, literally from day one, was about the actual boxing mechanics, right? So taking visuals aside, audio aside, everything else, for us, it was all about the core mechanics of the game.
For sure.
And, as I think most people know, punches and animations.
That's the main critique. I think we all know that at this point.
That we've openly said is something that we're not completely satisfied with. And the play test showed some very good scores in that respect, in terms of how the punches felt, the combinations.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
And one of the things that I wanted to get across, but that was a moment I think we were pretty satisfied with, in terms of the feedback, in terms of how the haymakers felt.
Here we go, those haymakers.
There's some balancing.
Them haymaker punches.
Right, so there were things in terms of
Let's get that conversation started again.
So yeah, there's a number of areas that obviously we're working on, but the core fundamentals of the game, we were really pleased with the feedback there.
Okay.
We did release a gameplay video featuring Terrence Crawford that the public got to see. A lot of feedback on that, obviously, besides people going, when's the release date?
Fanatico and Racz handiwork. I knew they were going to have to talk about that.
You got from that, do you think it was received pretty well?
Yeah, I think overall,
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, I see Racz got the drip. He brought the drip back. I see the drip in the back now. Last time, he was trying to hide that drip a little bit, but he got it back now. He's not so zoomed in this time. Just making sure.
I think it was received pretty well.
Hey, don't try to hide the drip, Racz. We know you got it.
I think people generally saw the improvements we've made with the punches, right? And I think
I could definitely tell the punches were improved from the last gameplay for sure.
Really happy with how.
Well, I know that the feedback was especially welcome from Will and Fanatico, because they were in charge of putting that video.
Yeah, this is what I want to hear about. But before we get to that, as always, seeing a content creator in a thing like this, like devs of a boxing game, devs of a game overall, is always a cool thing to see. So props to Fanatico for working on that Terrence Crawford gameplay video that we got earlier, and also being in the roundtable. I think it's really cool. Always a W when a content creator can get involved with a game like this. So major W.
Yeah. So obviously we've over the last year released a bunch of different sort of styles of gameplay videos. We've done these sort of dev update videos where the format, a lot of times is either Ash or myself, hopping on, talking through, where we're at in terms of the game. And we wanted to try something a little bit different, highlighting, you know, one of the fighters that nobody has seen before, right? So Terrence Crawford, kind of, you know, an important fighter in our game. And I thought, you know what, maybe it'd be fun to work with a creator on this one. You know,
it sounds like a great idea.
The game before.
Great idea.
Show high-level gameplay between him and I doing that. And also, you know, watching his videos, I know that he has a creative flair, has a, you know, ability to come in and add something unique to the video. So it was fun to have him come out. He was here for about 5 days. We worked on the video. We played a lot of matches, obviously, during that time as well.
Yeah, forget about making the video. I'm trying to hear about the matches, the gameplay. That's what I want to hear about.
How that turned out.
Fanatico, take me through that process of when you got the call. I know you'd been there in March for the creator event. How did the game play compared to then? Take us through that whole process.
Yeah, Will gave me the call and he told me if I would be interested in this, and of course it was a no-brainer to me.
Of course he was.
I'm 100%.
Of course he was.
But yeah, playing the game, I remember vividly that the moment we booted up the new build and I started throwing a few punches, I was just from that like initial period, I was already kind of shocked at the difference in the flow and how much even my punches and all that stuff, the movement had improved. And then as I started diving deeper into the games to kind of test what else is different, I started realizing that, you know, I could block the body and move my head and stuff that.
Oh, okay. So that was something. Yeah, that's something they couldn't do before.
Can lean and punch very quickly.
That was also something that they noted that they had trouble with before.
Quick.
But while I'm going over this, I'm glad that somebody like Fanatico, who is explaining this stuff to us, right? Because similar to a lot of people in the community, especially similar to me, Fanatico's played like all the boxing games up to this point, but he's also played it at a very competitive level. He's a very, very competitive individual. So it's good to hear his thoughts and stuff on the gameplay and things like that, because not only has he played all the boxing games of the past, but he's also very competitive, and he can see it from not only like the casual boxing game standpoint, but he also from like the competitive side. So it's gonna be interesting to hear how he talks about the games that him and Racz for sure.
And have more distance, more range, more control over that. I was honestly floored by how much it had improved from March to June. And I even told Will the exact like number that came to my head was that the gameplay or the game itself feels about 50% better than the creator.
Okay, interesting. So it's really that much better in that amount of time. That's actually pretty impressive.
Receiving punches and
pretty impressive.
Trying to get away, it just felt much more visceral. So yeah, but that whole thing was an honor to be part of it. Never thought that, you know, something like that would even take place. So for Will to, you know,
very dope of them to invite Fanatico out there,
and then to see
very cool to see him,
you know, to the trailer. I think that it was just like it came full circle. The whole
I think I mean I mentioned it when I reacted to that video.
Thank you so much.
Definitely think that was the best gameplay gameplay video we've gotten. I definitely think that was the best one we've gotten so far.
The game maybe you didn't know.
For sure.
Oh man, I mean, I think that was kind of like the revelation to me, right? As somebody that plays this game every single day, you know, playing it, I mostly play it, you know, against the AI here. You know, sometimes when I have, you know, somebody come by, I'm able to play with a human opponent. But, you know, I've not spent a whole week playing against somebody that is kind of capable of the high level.
This man makes me sick to my stomach. He plays every day. Makes me sick to my stomach.
Play, so. I mean, for me, I think like we kind of spent the week basically going back and forth trying to outsmart each other in the game. And so it opened up a lot of layers of stuff that, you know, I wasn't aware was possible. So like
that's the beauty of playing a human opponent.
You know, one of the things
and making adjustments and kind of reacting to each other
was catch and shoot, right? So, you know, I'd come in a lot of times, I'd try to, you know, end my combination with a body shot. He figured that out. He knows I'm going to do that. And he timed his block and throw the counter, and boom, you get that, you get that spray of sweat off you that you messed
Okay,
up.
nice. So you can, like a block counter essentially. You block and shoot the punch straight away. You can catch and shoot a punch clean.
I was having to figure out,
like that.
So what do I want to do about that? Well, there's so many different ways you can approach it.
Start the feints, mix up, go up top.
That was going to happen, and I would try to throw a short, uppercut on the inside before he could throw that shot, or I'd feint a power, I'd come in and throw my combination, and instead of throwing that throwing that last, body hook in there, I'd feint a hard body hook and then throw, a left hook.
See, that's
with my other
the mind games I want to see. That's the mind games.
I don't know. What do you say, Fanatico? We got like
mind games, adjustments. That's my game.
Yeah,
outsmart each other.
One thing that Racz said was, and I think I believe this, was that I don't think anyone in the world has ever seen the game being played the way we were playing it. I think by day 4 or 5, it was like, what's going on? Like, we were just so
getting deep
in terms of
there it is.
and evolving the gameplay.
That's cool to hear, man.
That's cool to hear. That's where I found out that I can combine my default punching combinations with the directional punching smoothly, and then be able to kind of subvert your expectations with those kind of combinations, which where I would use the overhand right and get right over your guard. And I love that dynamic guard. A lot of people are thinking, oh, is it going to be too difficult? Like, I don't think it is that difficult to kind of catch your opponent's rhythm and then block accordingly.
Wait.
I think you were.
Hold on. So they were using manual block? They're using the 6-axis? Is that what he's saying?
Were able to do that to me. I was able to do that to you. I think maybe like a casual player may not be able to just pick it up right away, but I think
they definitely not gonna be able to pick it up right away. Because in the creator event, they couldn't use the dynamic blocking or the manual 6-axis blocking. That's interesting. They got that in the newer build. Interesting.
That type of defense.
Yeah, I do think that's an area where it helps to have that knowledge of boxing, where kind of the order and the punches that they're going to come back towards you, right? I think for me, like, one of the stories was like basically that
this is very interesting.
Was that like
my mind's spinning?
Played out the same, right? It's like when somebody would make an adjustment. It's like I spent a whole fight, one time, just trying to understand when I thought Fanatico would throw a shot, and I would try to hit him first, right? And that was like, for that whole fight, that was like the thing I had in the back of my head. Can I do this? I had other. This
is very off topic, but this is something that, since Racz just mentioned that, it's just something that got me thinking. Like, in like tournament settings for eSports Boxing Club, like, imagine you're doing like a best of 3, like for some of these matches, right? You have best of 3s. Like what Racz just said basically was, for some of these fights, like if you noticed Fanatico was doing something he couldn't counter, he would basically sacrifice the fight in order to try to find a way to counteract whatever Fanatico was doing. So I could definitely see, like, in like best of 3 scenarios and things of that nature, if you notice your opponent's doing something so well and like that's their main game plan, you might sacrifice a fight to kind of try to figure out how to take that away from them. And then if you could take it away from them in the next 2 fights, you can come back to win the set and things of that nature. I hope in like tournament setting that it's best of 3s for matches like this, depending on how it depends on how they're going to set up tournaments and things of that nature. But I would love best of 3s where you can make adjustments to your opponent.
Fights
be very, very interesting.
I felt like he was throwing the bigger counters, and so I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to match him there, so I'm just gonna try to touch him with light shots whenever I can, right?
Figure out another way to get through.
I'm gonna throw in between his.
You may not win the fight, but you may figure out a way going forward where you can do better in the fight. That's something to keep in mind. That'd be very, very interesting.
So we just had things just played out totally differently based on what we were learning.
Yeah, and one thing that frustrated me from the beginning, because like I wanted to be that guy, I just wasn't. Your jab, you always was out jabbing me, and it was driving me nuts because I wanted to be the jab guy. I wanted to be the guy that could play on the outside on you, but you threw that out the window for me. So I had to come up with so many different ways. Exactly what I
was just talking about.
Always out jab me. I can't just
try to find ways around your opponent's game plan
first, or do a side step jab or something that was
side step.
So that's when
Don't say sidestep.
shoot, I even evolved that to timing it, you know, to the head and the body, to make it even more confusing for you. And it was just beautiful, man. We did so many different things, even up until the moment that I had to go to the airport. Like, we still, even at that time, had shifted the gameplay, like right before, like a few hours before I had to leave, which was incredible.
Well, let me tell you about when I played Fanatico. You can hear my little story.
I'm guessing that did not go very well for Todd.
This is back in March, and you won like world titles in video gaming, right?
Yeah. Competitions.
Like this guy like the best of the best. So I'm gonna play against Fanatico, and he's doing the stick and move, the little slap and tickle with me. I'm like, well, I don't
That's a slap and tickle.
War, right? All right, fine. Boom, boom. I get some shots in. I'm doing pretty good. And he eventually grinds me down and beats me. But I was like, man, I was hanging with the world's best.
Man, no way. That's reality.
Around the corner.
Had to be a trap.
When the other, shout out to Showbiz. Showbiz is there. And I hear them talking. And Showbiz goes, man, he was touching you up. Or were you letting him? He goes, oh, I was just toying with him.
Yeah, that sounds more accurate. That sounds more accurate.
Like, geez, a lot. So,
Yeah.
this guy's legit.
I think one of the things I appreciate about Fanatico is how much of a competitor he is. Because I'm
that he is.
level of desire to win. I think like
That he
for me,
is.
it's more of like a curiosity of can I solve the puzzle? But it's not. I'm not driven in that way, and so it's like we had days where if I got the best of him that day, or even just like at the end of that.
Yeah, he wants that back in blood.
Morning, he was like, "We gotta play."
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he wants that back.
And we had like
I can't blame him.
matchup that was kind of like our default matchup to the week, where I was using Lyndon Arthur and he was using Roy Jones, and that
was a tough matchup.
Standard for like where are we at right now? Who's got the advantage?
Ooh, I know Roy is slick in this game, boy. I can't wait to use Roy.
But one of the reasons why that became the standard was because all the fighters felt different. Like I remember,
Hey, that's a W.
I loved how Adelaide, fights, and I was actually kind of shocked too that he had all like his punches from the March trailer. That was really cool, like the looping kind of body hook and stuff.
Yeah.
So like it just, I wanted that same ground so we could always check to see, because maybe I'm better with Adelaide than you are with Tyson Fury or something, and things like that. So I wanted always to have that same ground.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That the Lyndon Arthur.
Yeah, they want to keep mixing up the matchups because you weren't
was the litmus.
two people they're both familiar with, two people they like to use.
Consistently, then I'm better.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
You won consistently, then you're better at that
Let me ask
moment.
everybody this. You only get one answer, all right? Ash, who overall in the game, looks, everything, who is your favorite character so far in ESBC? One fighter.
Tyson Fury.
Tyson. Will.
Tyson, okay.
Connor Ben.
Okay, Ben, okay.
Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah, I knew Fanatico was going to say Roy.
That's great. 4 different fighters.
Brown.
That's
Okay, I like
one
that.
thing, Ash, that I was wondering about, how's the judging going? I know that's
All right, let's pause it right here.
Relying.
Because I want to do my next video. It'll be on the second half of this video. I'm going to pause it right here. That's going to pretty much wrap it up for this video. Because I don't want to make this too long, especially when I pause it. I don't know how long this video is going to end up being. Hopefully not too long. But my closing thoughts for this first section. We didn't get a whole ton of new information. We got more information about where the game is than anything. Like no release date, nothing like that. No huge news or anything like that. More like things on like where the current build of the game is, how Fanatico and Racz playing each other, how that kind of went, and how they adapted to each other's play style a little bit, and things that were improved from when the creators went out in March and things like that. But all in all, I think it's a lot of good information, but I know there's going to be people who want more. Obviously, it always is the case. People are going to want the release date. Like I said, we didn't get a ton of new information. We just got more, I guess you could say, more information about things we already knew for the most part. Pretty much that's how I would best explain this first section. Because I know I'm trying to explain it generally for the people who are like me. Because I loved hearing Fanatico and Racz talk about their games with each other and how they were adapting to each other and how he was using this technique against Racz, and then Racz figured out he was using this. He tried to take it away by doing this. Like, I love that, but that's just me personally. I know other people don't really care about that too much. They just want the release date and they want to be able to get their hands on the game. So I totally understand that, but for me personally, that's what I love to hear. I love talking about technique, strategy, and things like that. But, generally, overall, I know people are going to want the release date, more information about when that's coming out and things like that. Totally feel you there. I'll have another video out on the back half of this video, which looks like it's going to be going over the judging, a couple other things towards the end of this dev roundtable. But all in all, I always love getting more information about the game. Dev roundtables are a major W. Having Fanatico, content creator, the biggest content creator for ESBC, you know, being able to get onto the roundtable with the devs is always cool. You know, that's a major W. Love seeing content creators get involved with the game, especially in a game like this where we all want things to be a certain way. You know, we always want to get our input into the game, and Fanatico is very deep in the community, the boxing game community overall, as well as the regular boxing community. So very cool that we have him in there, you know, testing things out for us, and he knows what the community wants. He knows what they're looking for and things like that. So that's very, very cool. Hope they can get do more things like this in the future involving content creators. I think this is a pretty cool idea. You know, shout out to the dev team for, you know, getting involved with the content creators. You know, just being transparent overall, you know, it's always a W. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for this video. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like down below. Comment what you guys thought about the first half of this Dev Roundtable. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.